There's a lot of games that I'm really excited about, guys, and I talk about on the YouTube channel a lot about the different games I'm really excited about. I can't wait to get my hands on, and one of those is without a doubt the Callisto Protocol. It is one of my most anticipated games of the future, right? Because this is a game that's slated for like 2022, and it could get pushed back. We never know what's going to happen, but the Callisto Protocol is certainly one of my most anticipated games of the future. I'm a huge fan of the horror genre. I've stated that a million times, whether we're talking movies or video games, and Dead Space being one of my favorite, just horror games ever made. The Callisto Protocol from the makers of Dead Space is something that is going to really be something I have very high expectation for, and I'm just going to be really excited about it. And in this segment of the show, I want to talk about everything that we want in the Callisto Protocol. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and opinions here. I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below. And in this segment, guys, I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that we want most out of the Callisto Protocol. And like I said, I want to hear from you guys. What are the 5 things that you guys want the most? I'm going to give you guys mine, so let's get into it. So coming in, guys, at number 1, most important thing when it comes to any AAA title out there, I always talk about it here on the YouTube channel, a full package. So at number 1, guys, I want a full package. What does that mean? Well, that means that we want a full-blown story mode, right? A full-blown campaign that we can really sink our teeth into. And we also want to have co-op modes that we can play with our friends, and we want to have multiplayer that we can play with others out there, and or against others out there. Having a full package is incredibly important for the Callisto Protocol, I believe, for its long-withstanding success. After you're done playing the single-player story, you can either play it over again if you want, or you can play co-op modes with your friends, maybe going up against waves and waves of enemies like Gears of War. Or you can play multiplayer against, PvP setting. Having all those different ways that you can connect with this franchise is really going to help it being a brand new franchise. Also in the horror genre, I believe it's going to be very, very important. We see games like Resident Evil moving in a direction of having, Resident Evil Reverse. We just talked about that, in an earlier segment, where it's a full-blown multiplayer component that's free, right? And so I think having multiplayer, having ways that you can connect with this franchise after you're done playing that single-player story is crucial. Simply because if you beat that single-player story and you have no other way to connect with the game, you're going to move on to other games. So full package is a must. At number 2, guys, I really believe that the downfall of Dead Space came with Dead Space 3, obviously, but it was really this direction that EA wanted to go in. EA and Visceral Games. This direction that, away from what made Dead Space so great in the first place. The first 2 Dead Space games had, a horror game with action elements. But then in Dead Space 3, they flip-flopped it. They made it an action game with some horror elements, which really lost the fan base in a number of ways. Obviously, not having co-op, finally bringing it into the fray in Dead Space 3 was a little bit too little too late. And not having multiplayer, I think, was a huge disservice to the franchise. So I want to see here in the Callisto Protocol, keep it horror over action. Having the action elements is going to be great, guys, but you want to have all of the horror elements as a horror title with those action elements in it. That's what the Callisto Protocol is being promoted as. Keep it as such. At number 3, I really want, guys, there to be a linear story experience. So sure, if this was a franchise that had a number of titles and was always a linear experience, I would maybe be saying maybe we should make this an open world scenario. But since this is the very first, in this universe, I think it needs to be a linear experience. It needs to be one where you have like those claustrophobic moments, right? Kind of like Dead Space. Claustrophobic moments, you're able to explore a little bit, but not much. It's more of like this very linear story experience where they're trying to get the point across, where you're supposed to be absolutely terrified. They're trying to make the scariest game ever made. So to me, in order to do that, you make a linear story experience where you're going to be in tight corridors, very much so vulnerable to the environments. And that leads me to number 4, guys. I mentioned it earlier, but I think that one of the most important things here is to have free-to-play elements in the Callisto Protocol. Why? Well, this is a brand new franchise, right? And I think that if you have a free-to-play element or 2 in this game, in this title, so let's just say multiplayer, for example, they make it free to play for everyone, you're going to have people out there whether it's content creators, streamers, just, you know, the general public that will at least try it out and try that free-to-play component just to see what it's all about. And maybe they'll buy the full version of the game. Maybe they'll just play that free-to-play version. You can add those cosmetic items and things of that nature to it and create like this big franchise and fan base over time that you can add on to over time. I think having a free-to-play element or two to the Callisto Protocol could be huge for this game and what could be a very long withstanding franchise. And to round it out, guys, at number 5, we know that it's been announced that the Callisto Protocol is in the PUBG universe. So PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, guys, which is very exciting. This is something, a really interesting and exciting thing to me. I think it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. I think that PUBG, guys, this reminds me a lot of Rainbow Six, right? So you got Rainbow Six Siege, right? And then they're creating none other than Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is kind of like the horror elements or the horror game within this franchise. To me, you got PUBG, and now you've got the Callisto Protocol coming in. It seems like it's kind of directly almost like a Rainbow Six kind of ordeal, and we'll see how that plays out. But I want to see this crossover into PUBG in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's into the PUBG, you know, Battle Royale segment of it, whatever it is, it'd be really cool to see Callisto Protocol tie into PUBG more. I think that would be something really cool. To me, though, I feel that, you know, one of the things that's unfortunate, a lot of people don't know that the Callisto Protocol is in the PUBG universe. I feel like the Callisto Protocol should have maybe been called PUBG the Callisto Protocol, kind of like Rainbow Six Quarantine, just so people know, oh, this is the horror version of PUBG, or it's in that universe, which I think would have got a lot of people excited. But we'll see. Maybe PUBG as a service will be promoting the Callisto Protocol in a major way so everybody knows about it. It'll be interesting to say the least, but we want to see that crossover happen. I'm excited about it. I want to hear, though, from you guys. What do you all want to see in the Callisto Protocol? One of my most anticipated games of the future. Let me know. And for more of the Callisto Protocol content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.